Hello, it's me, Willow Storm of Junos Journeys, and I'm here to tell you how my life got turned upside down yet again. So if you'd like to take a minute, just sit right there and I'll tell you all about how we bought a cottage. So previously on Junos Journeys, you saw that we got stuck in Latvia after travelling in our van from Spain up to Latvia, crossing all those borders while the coronavirus pandemic closed in on us. Because if you remember, we were supposed to be starting a whole new chapter of our travelling lives after having to say goodbye to Juno and her funeral, etc. Then we got up here and the borders closed, pandemic started, nowhere to go, nowhere to be. And at first all the news were like, don't worry, don't panic, you know, like this is a temporary 3-week thing, everything's gonna be back to normal. And 3-4 months later, nothing is even close to getting back to normal yet. So we were faced with a decision. When we came to Latvia, it became clear that we could not stay inside the van because of the pandemic. We had to find temporary accommodation, but it was temporary, so we couldn't stay there for as long as we needed to be there. Not to mention, the van still had so many necessary renovations as it needed to have to make it livable. You might have seen any one of these memes. And that concept, cottage core, goblin core, sustainably living in the countryside, is something we had discussed for a while. When you start van life, you're always kind of aware that it's probably not going to be permanent, you know. For a lot of people, it tends to be temporary or, you know, but we had committed full time to living in the van, and it's clear now that we could not continue to do that, and we hope to one day return to van life because it's the most true we've felt in our 19-20 years that we've been alive. But cut to pandemic border closures, it's just not possible. And with all of this going on, it's clear that the world is changing. We don't know what the world is going to look like after this pandemic, how long it's going to take for these borders to open so we can resume our van life. For example, somewhere in America or Australia where it's just one big country, you don't have borders to worry about when you're living in your van because it's just one country. So as soon as your country returns to normal, you can start traveling again. However, we're in Europe, so we can't return traveling to normal until every country is safe, until all borders are open. And I am high risk when it comes to the COVID because I'm an asthmatic. So even if the borders opened, it might not be clear as to whether we can travel again, because if I got it, it would be a huge problem. So then came this idea. Ricky is Latvian, and we started scrolling through this site and we noticed these lauku viensātas, basically farmhouses. I don't know if I said that right, it all probably had a terrible accent. And we noticed that some of the fixer-uppers or the older buildings were feasible. It's something we could get. So that's what we decided to do. We always talked about living sustainably, living off the land, having a lesser impact on the environment, which is what we were kind of aiming to do with van life as well, to get away from mainstream society. So we did. And now we are again. Obviously, the search for our new laukmāja was going to be unforgiving. We went to places that were far too disgusting. No way we could fix them up. We went to places that were far too big for us to manage. You know, 3 hectares of land is just not... You get fined if you don't upkeep all of your land, and 2 people trying to keep up 3 hectares, we just didn't think that was possible. And, you know, and then we found places that were just far too small for us to live in, you know, just wasn't even worth the time, was more of a holiday home. And then finally, after weeks of stressing, after weeks of misery of being stuck in this tiny little apartment with no space to breathe, no outside time, on lockdown, we found this place. So yet again, we packed everything we had into the back of a van, ready to make this massive next move in our lives, and said goodbye to the Soviet apartment that had been our home, ready for our little cottage. The perfect cottage. And I say cottage because it really is. It's got a barn outside, it's got bedroom, main living room, kitchen, bathroom. It's not very big. Doesn't even have an upstairs. And it's got about 0.7 hectares of land. But as soon as we got here, just as soon as we pulled up, we realised it was going to be perfect. And it is. It's so perfect. It's better than we could have ever imagined. It really is. So, welcome to a new chapter of Juno's journeys. Even though Juno is not with us, this is still her journey, and this is a very exciting, although albeit unexpected turn in our journey, and I can't wait to show you what it will bring, and I hope you're just as excited for this new time in our lives as we are, because this whole place is going to need renovations. You know, it doesn't have a lot of the modern amenities. You know, it's got a wood burner instead of heating. It's very basic living, but we're excited to give it a go. We're excited to give it a try. And we can't wait to bring you guys along on the journey with us, because... Come in.
Hello.
Want to say hello to the camera?
Hello.
Hard worker. Comment what you think about this new life transition. You know, are we very silly? Is this exciting? I mean, there's a lot coming. There's a lot going to be happening. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see how two city living teens convert to living in a cottage deep in the Latvian countryside. And I will see you in the next video.